What's good, folks? Welcome to another edition of the Cover One Film Room, the show that gives you the hows and the whys behind both the good and the bad of the Buffalo Bills. I am one of your two hosts, Anthony Prohaska, joined as always by Eric Turner. And Eric, the weather's starting to turn a little bit. It's getting a little warmer. Summer's starting to get here. We're getting away from, Buffalo's been kind of really back and forth. I shouldn't even say that. It poured rain today, so I'm kind of lying. But we're excited because we're getting closer to actual football. Training camps around the corner, preseason around the corner from that, the regular season from there. And we're not alone in this episode today. It's a good time to be here in the film room. How you feeling? How's it going?
I feel great, man. Like you said, football's around the corner. The Bills have some practices tomorrow, so we'll have some content and stuff to talk about. But once again, we're bringing players in to talk about their 2024 film, things that they've learned, and developments in that area, but also looking forward to 2025. And in this episode, we're joined by guard O'Cyrus Torrence once again back in the film room. Is it your second or third time? I think it's your third time, right?
I think it's my third time.
Yeah.
Who's keeping count?
Time.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Yeah.
So how are you looking forward to practices again tomorrow? You expect to see everyone there at pretty much at camp and at a One Bills Drive?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Tomorrow officially starts the mandatory part of it. So, I'm sure everybody's going to be able to come and be in attendance. Just excited to kind of get back on the grass with everybody, get back moving around and kind of see how we look. It's like an early little preview of what we got coming into camp.
You were on, I think the last time you were on was middle of July last year. So going into your year two, obviously now you are going into your year three. Is there anything for you in particular you're looking for from yourself going into this year? Or is there anything different on your mindset this year versus last year? Or is it just kind of general, another year in the league, another year wiser type of deal as you head into year three?
It's definitely another year in the league, another year being wiser, and just getting better and being better than I was last year. But also just feel like I'm more focused on this year, just being more a student of the game, being able to look at the defense and kind of get a feel for what they might run, or being able to get a feel throughout the game. Or we've been seeing pressure from this side because of this linebacker is a little bit outside the B gap more than usual. Like small stuff like that, I just want to get better at being able to notice. I feel like it's going to definitely help me get to another level.
Now, before you go into the 2025 season, when you compare your first and second seasons, what were the biggest differences you saw on tape, or even again from the shoulders up? What were some of the differences you saw from your first year to second year? Again, this is what's so fun about having you on three times is we are able to build a library of your film, of your development, and things you've been working on. So, what were the differences between your first year and second year on film?
For me, for what I could see, just like I could tell, I play like with more confidence, just being out there and like the way I move and like how I am between plays and mannerisms. I just feel like I'm out there like more so like I belong instead of like I'm just here. And I can kind of notice that myself from looking at film and also seeing like I feel like I play more faster to the game. If that makes sense. That's not like I'm trying to like. I guess you can see my rookie year is kind of like sometimes all over. I don't want to say it's all over the place, but you can see like I'm a little bit behind. I'm kind of too fast, but now it's like last year I just look at it and be like, oh, I'm with the speed of the game, if not like going a little bit better than with the game. If that makes sense. But I feel like that's one of the main things I could notice for myself.
No, that 100% makes sense. I feel like that's really kind of, you hear that a lot for almost for any sport. Like the more you're in the league, the game slows down a little bit or kind of comes to you a little bit. And for someone like you, I think, well, for every player, it's important. But, for us, especially for somebody like you who is so physically imposing and who, if you can get your hands on somebody, it's almost a wrap almost every single time. And that kind of physical dominance for you, it's almost kind of like your calling card or what gets talked about you the most. But do you think there's an aspect of your game that you think is overrated or underlooked and people kind of focus too much about the power or the size or the physical dominance when it comes to your game?
I wouldn't say that. I want to say much majority of my game, but that's probably one of my strengths of my game, like about physicality and power. So, I say people, just probably the knowledge of the game I have, which you can't really tell too much from my guard from how he play, like how smart he is, or knowing like what's going on. But I can say for myself, like probably my teammates and my coaches aspect, that'll probably be one of the things that I gotten better. And also just we hit each other every play is like you gotta let the game kind of come to you. You can't go in there like too riled up or too ready to go. Like going there and just let the game kind of start flowing. And because I mean, we're gonna hit no matter what. It's different for a receiver. Like they might not get hit to the second quarter, then the game start like coming to them. But for us, it's more so like then the hits pile up and like start and like get a feel for it. And if that makes sense again, like just kind of get a feel for the game, let it come to me so I can like kind of get in like a flow state and start playing.
Love that. So one thing that's always talked about is grading, third-party grading. You hear, PFF and a lot of different agencies that have kind of grown to grade you guys and grade your film and put numbers on how well you played or how bad you played. I'm interested in the team's grading for you. When you compare the first year to second year, how do their grades for you? What does Cromer talk to you about when you compared your first year to second year and with the team grading, not the PFF stuff, but the team grading?
I team graded when I talk with Cone, like every year after the year, it was more so like he after my rookie year, he just said like going in, like he was just excited for my growth throughout the season and seeing how it would like progress because like I didn't like hit like a rookie wall, if that makes sense. Like I didn't come to like a point where it's like, oh, I need a break or anything like that. I was just kind of able to just keep it going. And like he praised it, but also like the physical part wasn't really a problem for me for real. So it was more so like just mentally getting better each week. And I think that's probably more so of what they graded me off of. Like today we had our exit meetings and it was kind of more so the same. Like I told them what I wanted to like get better and still like the same. Like I'm just trying to be more sound and a student of the game because growing up I always been physical and had that aspect. And I don't want to say I got it down pat. It's definitely something I still work on, but it's something I really focus on more. So it's like that part of my game, like the mindset part, like making sure I come to the game in the right mindset and being able to stay in the right mindset, like learning more about myself to be able to do that and being able to get the mental part of the game like down pat, like knowing the plays, knowing myself, like knowing the tendencies of the defense, all that.
So throughout this, even just this like early part, you mentioned like the mental side and the knowledge piece and the football IQ piece so much. One of the questions we asked the last time you were on the show was about like your film study habits and how you were seeing the game and, where you were going into year 2, now going into year 3. And again, how much you've talked about that mental side. Have you changed anything from a film study perspective, or are you seeing the game in a different way, like that allows you to look at film differently or study differently? Like just talk about how much has your preparation habits changed, or have you just locked into more and kind of knowing what you're doing? Like just how is that the study and the prep process changed or improved for you going into this year?
I won't say it changed much. I have said it improved because I do know more of what I'm looking for definitely certain concepts. Like sometimes we be studying plays and then you be looking like wondering like what we gonna do on this play if the linebacker blitz off the edge like he's doing right here against this team. But it's more so like knowing like we want to run this formation against this team so he wouldn't blitz like this. So knowing stuff like that, being able to watch film and not have to worry about stuff like that because we won't be this formation so that won't happen. So I say more so like because I watch film, but I'm not the biggest film person. Like I more so like walkthroughs and I prefer to just practice. I don't necessarily I like film, but it's not my favorite thing to do when we get to the facility. So I don't watch too much more film than I usually do, but it's more so like knowing what I'm looking for. So like when I'm watching it, I can like use all the time I got like productively. Yeah, efficiently. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things I've like kind of tweaked a little bit about my film study.
And that's fair because people learn in different ways. Some people can learn just by visually looking at something. Some people learn better by actually walking through it. A walkthrough is more beneficial to a guy like you, and that's fine. I'm actually the same way. Throw me in the fire and let me just let me
figure it out. Yeah, so
yeah, exactly.
And now, even within that too, there's something I think to be said, Eric and O'Cyrus, for like if you're trying to watch everything, you can almost get like lost in it. So being able to niche down or narrow down a little bit and not have to see everything, like every time we've had Greg Rousseau on, he keeps talking about like how, so it's not like it's not like you're drinking through a fire hose. You just get to narrow it down more and more. And so that way, if you're able to narrow down what you're studying and you can throw out what you don't need to know, it just makes it so much better to both of your guys' points.
Yeah, exactly. Just
totally.
I like to split up the defense and watch just my side of the line, then watch the other side of the line. Then it's like kind of put it together instead of just my rookie year. I'll just watching like the whole O line, D line, running back, and linebackers. I'm just trying to play they running, but not knowing like what they're doing to stop it. If that makes sense. So
Oh,
I feel like definitely now I can just like kind of split it up and watch just this part of it, watch this part of it, and kind of bring it together. And I feel like doing that helped me understand it more too.
Yeah, it's the whole like the film and analytics debate where, you know, some guys watch film and they have some theories that then they run the numbers and they kind of test those theories, or some guys take the analytics and they see a certain niche or a certain thing they want to focus on and then go to the film to kind of do that. So again, that's cool to hear, because again, everyone learns differently and processes differently. And so if we're talking the grading part of things, third party grading, PFF and stats, you know, sites like that grade you guys on the film alone. Do you follow that? Does the team use that? And if so, what's your opinion on third party grading? Because again, we don't know your assignments. We can make some educated guesses and hit every once in a while, but for the most part, it's an educated guess, and that's where it kind of ends. So what are your thoughts on third-party grading sites like PFF and, again, those advanced analytics sites trying to grade you guys and put a number on your blocking, whether it's in pass pro or in run blocking?
I mean, I notice it and I see it, but I don't really care to let it weigh on me too much. I used to my rookie year, but it's more so like the way our coach teach us to block is not what they looking for. Like they looking for finishes, and I guess I don't know what they're looking for a pass pro, because I don't give up a sack and they still say,
No one
like,
knows.
I don't know what they look for a pass pro, but like for sure run blocking, we don't get taught to use our shoulder, we use our hands, so we're not getting initial drive off the ball from the start, but we finishing our blocks in the end. So I don't. So I think it's more so like the way we're coached to like block is not what they're looking for in the grading scale, at least for like the run blocking wise. Like pass pro, I guess they looking for, I don't know. But run blocking wise, I feel like they look for more so finish and driving down the field. And the way we block and the way we like a lot of times we'll block and somebody will be going one way, instead of trying to cut them off, we just take them where they're going and push them past the play. And and I guess the third party can look at it like, oh, he got beat across his face. But the way we look at it, we just pushed them past the point. So we still got to where we was going. So I don't really pay too much attention for it. I mean, I just make sure my guy don't get the tackle or get the sack.
And I mean, it's like you think about what Aaron Cromer, the O-line coach, is asking you guys to do is completely different than the 31 other teams, right? Exactly. And so there's no standard when it comes to being in the room as an offensive lineman versus the standard of these companies. And so trying to whittle it down to, hey, this is the generally what's supposed to happen. I get it, but at the same time, their grades could be completely different than what Chrome's is giving you guys, because again, they know what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I mean, my rookie year is hard not to look at this type of stuff going from college. That's all college players, like us in college, like you looking at that and that's like determining everything for us. So coming in rookie year is kind of hard not to look at it or like focus on it or like worry about it. But like, I think like last year I was more so like, we know we looking for on the team. Like, so if Chrome good what I'm doing, then I don't gotta worry about nobody else for real.
Good answer. Yeah, we even just for us, like I can't imagine what it's like for you, but even for us, like we'd break down a play and be like, oh, you know, Torrence had a good game. We break it down, and then someone would come in and be like, oh, but like he gave up 4 pressures according to PFF. And we'd be like, no, he didn't. And we're like, well, what are you talking like? And so
I guess they look at giving ground as giving up pressure. So I mean, Or it could be like a slide to my side, and I'm expecting the tackle to give me more of a drag in, then he doesn't. Right. So,
but that also goes back to the everything, like the technique. Nobody knows the individual technique, and then the specific assignment to that point. Like someone could cross your face, and your assignment is let that guy go because, you know, your partner next to you is supposed to pick that up or have that drag hand ready, but maybe his drag hand isn't extended enough so he doesn't feel that guy. Guy gets through, you get tagged for it, but it wasn't really your fault. That's what that's what's so tough about
where you live with the anchor ability and your strength and physical dominance, where you could be anchoring, you're probably a yard to 2 yards away from the quarterback. It counts as a pressure, but you anchored. And you held the interior depth of
I only like count those as pressure because like I can stop them at the line, but if I hop back 3 steps and make them like drive into me and make them use their energy, and then stop them like 4 yards back, now like it's probably 4 less plays they're gonna be trying to burst because they have not much energy using. So it's like it all plays a part in. Like I could stone them at the line every chance, but that's getting me more tired and giving them like more like keep the energy up. But if I sit there and sit in front of them and I let them bull rush me for like 2-3 yards and I stop them, now they didn't use that energy up. And like for the rest of the drive, they probably won't even do that move because they know like if they'll get there, they're gonna be tired. So it all was like it's all like playing chess at this point. So I try to worry about it too much.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, like let somebody try and like use all their power pushing against a brick wall, and you're like, nah, man, I'm just gonna hop a couple times and stonewall you 2-3 yards back.
Just give ground slowly, and then they instead of trying to push me back hard as they can, I feel like they definitely get tired before I do. Then they got to chase the ball. When the quarterback throw the ball, D-line, they got to chase the ball. It could be a running play. They got to run after it. So it all plays a part, yeah.
Grind on them, wear them down. Oh, I love that. Good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Eric mentioned just your anchoring and something we talked about in the show. We've talked about it with you before. For now, how do you approach anchoring versus different rush types? Like versus how do you approach your anchor versus pure power guys or versus like speed to power guys? Is there a specific footwork you're trying to implement or specific weight distribution you're trying to key into, or is it hand related? How do you approach anchoring versus different types of rushers?
It's more so hand. I think for me it's hand related. Like I try to get my hands on them as fast as I can and get a part to grab, and it's kind of like take it from there. Like most guys, if they power rushes, they're gonna continue being a power rusher even if you stop it. So it's not like I'm gonna stop it a few times and expect them to do something different. I'm expecting them to keep going what they best move is. And with speed kind of guys, it's kind of more so just being. It's different with them. When I get contact, make sure my feet is in the ground. Then I'm gonna find my anchor when I find the anchor. It's because the anchor is always there. I just gotta find it. But with the speed guys, it's more so just getting my hands on as quick as I can, and then from there figuring out is they trying to get to the quarterback, they trying to do a stunt, or they trying to just kind of get in the gap. Sometimes like guys, I feel like don't even going for the stage when they cause like pressure or havoc, getting the backfield to make the quarterback get off his spot. So it's all about what they were speed guys or power guys, more so just getting in front of them and making them use their power to rush down the middle of them.
That's great segue to my question with the hands and your development of your hands. How has your hand placement evolved from college to now? And do you believe you use more independent hands now versus when you're in college? What are your punches looking like now versus when you're in college? How has that evolved, especially under Aaron Kromer?
It evolved. I think that's the most important part of my game that evolved. Like in college, I look at sometimes I be going through my camera when I see old college like film, like practice reps, and I see like I'm kicking and I'm just sitting with my hands on my side and I'm just shooting both of them at the same time. And I'm just like, it don't even look right. And I don't see how I was able to block people in college, honestly, because that's giving the D-lineman what they want. Like that's giving them their 3 steps and then they can do their move. Like they practice, they doing their move on their 3 steps. You got some guys that's able to do it in 2, but most D-linemen, especially in the interior, like it's so tight space, they hitting their move on their 3rd step. So when I used to sit with just my hands on my side and set punch, it was just giving them guys all the time in the world to hit their move they practice on all off season. So when I got to Chrome, it was more so like he started off telling me how my body in one gap and the arms in another gap, and basically just mean play long. So when I take my 2 sets, my arms are already across the line of scrimmage because I'm just sitting with them out. I was able to get good at setting on my feet and keep my hands in the pin of my feet. Like I could set with my feet moving, but my arms just sticking straight out and they're not moving. So it's like I'm taking up space on my arms, but my body's still in the A gap, and my arms are like kind of in the B gap. So by the time they get to their 3rd step, if they get to it, my arms are in their way. So they either gotta knock it down or they gotta let me grab them. And most D linemen use their moves, they gotta use both hands to knock one arm down. And when they do that, I throw the second arm that they ain't hit and kind of get the block started.
I feel like there's 3 teaching points from Kromer that always resonate anytime we have offensive linemen here. First one is always staying grounded, keeping your feet on the ground, staying, with a good base. 2, the one you mentioned, playing long is always a big thing, whether you're in pass pro or run blocking. And also hands.
Hands.
It's
the fundamentals. Yeah, like I remember they told us to block. We block with our hands, like in Little League, and then I guess at some point you start throwing your shoulder in a little bit as you get older in high school and college because the guys get stronger. But when we first learned how to block, they teach us to block with our hands. And that's kind of, I feel like Chrome just got us back to doing just using our hands. Yeah.
Yeah, and it tracks. Like it's really cool to see development in guys like yourself, but then also to see like we'll watch obviously the film from every snap from every Bills game. You can see like everybody across the line exhibiting like those similar type of like movements, whether it's like timing with your feet or positioning of your hands. And you can tell like how well Chrome like drills down on the fundamentals because of how everybody across the board is exhibiting those. And how I think that's even more impressive considering you're all like different types of players. Like
we all like Spencer's like long, fast and athletic. I'm like more stout and strong. Connor is kind of similar to me. Dave is more technique wise. Dion kind of just athletic. He's still strong. It's like everybody kind of got their own different play styles, and it works. The way Chrome teaches, like it works for everybody. You just got to figure out how it works for you, but it definitely works.
Yeah, it definitely works. That's awesome. Love that.
Give him a key to the city. Cromer,
right?
A key to the city. It's so good.
Give him anything you want.
Right. We say that all the time. Yeah, whatever Chrome wants, give it to him.
Give it to him.
Give it to him. Last question here, and then we'll dive into the tape. You had several very impressive reps last year versus Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones, somebody who's been a terror in this league for years. Did you have any keys or tells or tendencies that you tried to pick up on his film, whether it was going into the first game against the Chiefs or the second? Just kind of, if you had to give us a scouting report on Chris Jones right now, like, or could you give us one to try to, just considering the success that you had against him?
I don't really say I got like keys or tells, because I feel like if I try to study it and look for that, I feel like I'm nitpicking for it on the field, and I feel like that'll get me messed up. So I kind of keep it simple. I kind of keep it like if he's close inside of me, then he's gonna like do a one step and try to go to my outside. Like he's not gonna play the inside. That's not his gap. He don't never like unless it's a run play. He knows it's a run play. He don't never play between the center and guard. He really likes to play like between the tackle and guard. So when he's lined up right there, then I have two sets of mind in my head that I'm gonna use. If he's lined up outside of me, if he's lined up head up in front of me, then I know it's most likely some type of stunt because he never does that. So I necessarily don't have keys or tells I look for because he's too good for that. He could do anything. So good, I feel like trying to sit there and be like, oh, he's tilted a little bit. He might do this. That's gonna make me like think too much and get me on the edge to lose. I more so look at where he's lined up at, and I think about the 2 or 3 best sets I got for where he lined up at and go from there.
Oh, I love that.
I like that.
Keep it simple and
right?
the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to give yourself too many options and overthink it when you're playing a guy that's
because we both practice what we're doing in a game and in practice. So it's like if I look at him and try to make my set off what he's doing, it's gonna be better for him because he practiced that rep or like that whatever move he's gonna do. And if I like guess right, I still might not be in the right set for that move. So I'm just gonna practice the sets I take all the time. I'm just gonna practice. I'm just do one of those because I practice it, and those sets are made to stop such and such moves. Like I got 2 sets to stop a bull and an outside spin, another set to stop some move inside or like a stutter bull or something like that.
I love that. No, and it also goes to what you mentioned earlier when we started talking in this episode, like the game kind of coming to you more. I think that's a good example of it too.
That's exactly how it is. Like the game comes in like the first 2 quarters. I'm not looking for a tell. I'm just setting like how we do and pre-practice it with Chrome. We set like 1-2. I take 4 little steps. I keep my hands wide as I can. And with Chris Jones, he don't like hands on him, so he gonna definitely grab my wrist to do something. And then when he does that, that's when I just kind of react off that and like kind of counter his counter.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because especially the hand portion, we have a couple clips obviously from those games against Chris Jones. So with that said, man, let's jump into some of this. We're gonna start off with the run game stuff. We got 3 plays of run game, and then I think 3 or 4 in the passing game. So let's start off with the first game of the year. So scheme, technique, assignment, anything that comes to mind on these plays. So you're on the backside of this zone run, and you're able to create what we like to call horizontal displacement on the nose tackle here. Talk about this play and what happened as you opened that big cutback lane for James Cook.
Yeah, this our inside zone gully, and it's basically with that one backer in there. That's the mic, and then our fullback is up back. We call him for the one Reggie. He got the safety that's down, so we're not micing him. So he got that guy, and the rest of the line. We got the 5. We got the 4 down and the 1 back in the middle. And I knew from the start, like it was a game call. So I know I got help with Connor just on the front side, and then got help backside. So I just knew I could throw my hat in front of him and make him feel like I'm trying to cut him off, and then he play that gap. Then once he go that way, I use my power to take him farther past where he's trying to go. it just creates the hole, and the tackle can cut it off the backside. He got a combination with this tight end.
Oh, I love that. You know, you again, so much of this episode, you've talked about like the mental side of it, and like you've referenced like the chess match of everything. So you threw your hat purposely in front of him to make him think like and make him move in the direction you wanted him to, and then you reacted accordingly and just washed him down and sealed him off.
Yeah, because right now he see my left hand and my hat trying to go like cut him off, but really the power coming from like my back hip and my right hand is getting up under his pad. So once I feel him go with my hat, then I just activate my hips and just kind of torque him and throw him. But if he don't go that way, he stay where he at. I just keep going a will on him and hook him. Then James keep it front side. So
okay, that was my next question. I was gonna say, if he doesn't keep trying to cross face,
if he
tries to anchor himself, then you're just gonna keep driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is this something, this torque ability, this rotational force that you create with your hip there on the backside hip you talked about, kind of prying that hole open? Is that something you guys practice at drill? You know, in drills at practice?
Yeah, that's how you always teach us kind of like get into them without like backside. I don't want to say more so curled up, because that's like where's where the power coming from. He always teaches us that the power comes from our hips and like our backside when we doing cutoffs. So that's kind of more so like something we practice and like getting them on there, and then just like kind of using their momentum against them and taking them past the point.
Awesome stuff. So here's one from the playoff game here. James Cook. It looks like a duo run here for the touchdown. Again, you're doing a great job here as the guy crosses your face and just washing him out. And my question for you on this play, again, talk about the scheme technique, the assignment, the play call, whatnot. But what you're expecting with everyone lining up to the left side of the screen here, what you're expecting when it comes to this defender that's off your right hand shoulder, what you're expecting from him post snap.
I'm not expecting nothing from him. I'm expecting something from the defense. That makes sense. Like I'm expecting somebody to come fill this inside gap, because like it's a gap sound defense. Everybody got their gaps, and a linebacker, front side backer got his side, and I see this backside backer creeping up, and just because he's creeping up behind him in the B gap, it's not already necessarily he gonna go there. So I'm just more so thinking somebody finna cross my face. I don't know who yet, but somebody's finna do it. I could tell myself, make it easier to like say 97 gonna do it, but the one time I do that, he might not do it. Now I'm a little slow to come off on the back or whatever. So I just always tell myself.
But you knew something was coming because someone's gotta take that gap. Someone.
Yeah. So in my head, I'm looking like the defense gonna fill the gap. I'm not saying 97 gonna fill the gap. I'm just saying the defense gonna fill this gap. So I'm just taking my step, like kind of being patient and waiting, and then soon whoever cross my face, or whoever like come across my cylinder, I just take them past where they going. And it's like we coach all the time. I don't ever stop nobody going where they want to go. I just push them past where they're trying to go. That's easier.
And this is that duo call, right? So you basically, it's like a gap run. So you have that A gap right there.
Yeah, and then me and Spence, we working together. So we called Doom to start, but we knew it wasn't gonna happen in the better Doom. So we just kind of talk to each other right now. We saying Doom, but we both saying like, look, we both saying the backer name because we see him moving, so we know something's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so then if 55 shoots that A instead, you hit that flash, you take 55. If 97 sits and stays in the B, Spence takes him, and you guys operate accordingly based off of that initial flash and that kind of game that they play.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about I don't know, just like chucking dudes out of the way like that. Just talk about how nice it feels to just like, and this one isn't even like crazy. You're just like, you get hands on him, you're just like, here, man, just move out of the way, and you clear him and move him. To just talk about like that displacement ability, especially like you and Spence on that backside, like you guys move dudes horizontally, vertically, like just talk about what that feels like to people move the hell out of like somebody on the defensive line or in the box.
It feels good, but I mean, this one I don't even feel like I pushed him that far. But look at it, I did. But I mean, it's still something that ain't easy to do.
It's the paws, man. It's the 5XL hands, man.
It's definitely the hands.
There's that length there too, right?
Yeah. But it's always a good feeling because when I do that, I know they out there gap. So either whether we get a big run or not, I know the coach gonna circle this and fan, but like tell him you gotta stay in your gap. So
that's like a good one for you to mark down. Yeah.
So this is, I assume, a similar play call here where you and Spencer have some kind of combination going from the first level to Warner. So walk us through this play that from the Niners game where you're climbing, scooping to that second level and picking up Fred Warner there on this play. So walk us through this play.
It's look like it's duo again. Yep. Yeah, just regular duo, and we got another Doom call. and I'm not looking at the down line. I'm looking at Fred Warner the whole time because like that's who we going to, and then the way you draw it up is I'm helping Spence block 99 until I get to my guy Fred Warner. So the whole time I'm not looking at D lineman, I'm just setting and feeling it with my hands. And if I feel pressure right there, I just kind of block, push against it. But if I don't feel no pressure, I would get straight to Fred. But it was snowing, and I wasn't finna try to run right up there to him. So I'm like, I'm just gonna push this guy up and just make Fred want to have to make the decision with them, cut it outside or cut it inside. And thankfully, I think because it was snowing, it kind of made run plays this game kind of play out slower and better because the running back had to like, you got to be patient because it's slippery, and then the blocks kind of like the blocks fill in place like they do in practice. Like you walk through it like that, and they develop like in a snow game. They all develop like way better. Kind of got a feel for it. Like when I seen Fred come down, like the running back got to be close to the hole because he been like kind of just he's just hopping. Once I seen him like get his feet on parallel and like kind of go like he going downfield, that's when I know like all right, he finna like the running back got to be close, so I come off and
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask is the timing of this play when you're working these combinations or, again, helping out Spencer Brown here and then climbing. Like what type of things are you keying in on when that linebacker is, again, shooting downhill if he is or just staying at that second level? What type of things are you keying on so that the timing of this play hits perfectly for the running back?
I'm just looking at his feet. Like, like if they got happy feet, I mean, the running back kind of get closer. If they just still kind of like slowly like keeping short, choppy steps, they steady and they read. But if they start like coming downhill, like hopping and stuff, or just like just getting excited, I mean, the running back's definitely making this cut and trying to like come this way. So I'm just kind of reading more so his feet, kind of in the field for when he's gonna come, and stuff like that. Like, is the running back close and all that,
Yeah, so Warner triggered, so you triggered, came off the double. Oh, I love that. You mentioned a couple of pieces about the snow game. This is kind of my question. We talked to Connor McGovern about it too, and we had him in there. Just talk about, like, again, you mentioned some of it, the importance of, like, how cognizant or aware were you of your footing in this game? And, like, did it change much for you because of what the track and the field looked like for you, but also for the defense? Just talk about the impact that this kind of, like, weather and this type of footing has positively or negatively for you and for the offense.
For me, like at first it changed. It made me think I can't get my feet on the ground, but then like I started to notice like it's worse for the defense because they trying to like come off the ball. Like I'm not shooting off the ball. I'm just like getting my feet set before the play, then like kind of reacting. Like pass pro, like it was more so just set flat and just let them run out the ball. Then a lot of times they try to shoot out the ball too hard, they would slip before they come out their stand. So
yeah, that happened a lot.
Yeah. So in the early in the game, I was like, man, we can't do nothing. But like between plays, once we start we'll knock the snow off our cleats and like clear area so I can like set my feet. And once I do that, like I was good for my set. Then like stepping between plays, if kind of like I don't want to say between plays during the play, you would feel like you're just walking on snow. You don't feel your spikes, but you be on the ground more than you think. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally. All right, so we're gonna switch to some of the pass plays, and unfortunately, I had to bring this play up because we talked to Connor McGovern about this last play of the season and what happened and how things were a little confusing as far as pass protection goes. So we love to hear other perspectives. This one being from you, we heard Connor's. We'd love to hear your perspective on this play and kind of how it unfolded, where this pressure from the Chiefs caught you guys a little bit off guard here.
We went Lou, so me and Spence kind of like on the man side, but looking at it now, I didn't even know the cornerback came in. I seen his backer before the play start, but I mean, I was just going with what the call was, and it was like a Lou call. So I know I had the D lineman over me, but Josh was hot off the backer mugged up. So that's why I kind of just had the hand up protecting myself, but I was sitting to my guy. But once he dropped back, my first initial reaction is to look to where he's dropping back to see if somebody's coming to replace. So that's why my mind didn't instinctively go outside to the linebacker because I'm thinking Josh got him, he's hot. And like
so this was hot 20 right here.
Yeah, that's his hot. But the guy actually the cornerback who ended up coming in wasn't his hot, and I think that's what really got us. Like we don't even see him before, and then they say it's hot. They hit that pretty well, and then you got Chris Jones lined up outside on the other end, so it's like you want to bring the slide to over there, like
there's
just a lot played that part in that play right there.
Good call by Specs.
No, yeah, it's a great call by him. I mean, looking back at it, I ain't even mad about it no more. I mean, it's a way better play call than we had, like blocking scheme. Yeah,
It happens.
Yeah, sometimes you just get got. I think that gets lost so much in like for the fans who watch the games. It's understandable, right? But like the guys you're playing against, like they also get paid to play football. Right. They're also good at football. They're trying to beat you, and sometimes like you get them, they get you. Like it just happens from time to time. And this was just a good game from Spags on 4th down and the call in the moment. And but yeah, so many people have like talked about, oh, this is what should have happened or that's what should have happened. And so like getting your perspective on it the same way we got Connor's perspective on it was just because we were like, this is what we think should have happened. But like we talked about earlier, we don't know the assignments. We don't know the technique. So like kind of getting your perspective on it and these little insights, like it just adds so much to an important conversation with how people try to blow things kind of out of proportion to a degree.
Yeah. And then it's like, looking at it now, like, I mean, we could flip it to the other side, but they could always bring the same pressure to the other side.
And then you're manning up Chris Jones.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, just the threat of them bringing the pressure and you got man Chris Jones is just still a bad feeling. As happened. So I mean, it's looking at it, it's like we could have just had a different formation. Probably the best thing to do. Sure. Empty, probably a bit different formation.
Totally
a better like option. Yeah. So.
And see, I just want to like break it down for fans again. We want to slow the game down a little bit, and what happens on these type of plays. As you said, Chris Jones is right here near the logo, and so you have basically 1, 2, 3 from the center left there, and you said you guys were kind of manned off here, so the down lineman in front of you was technically your man, and then Spencer Brown had the big on the edge, and then this was the hot. And so when the ball is snapped,
and then the big on your guy, and the big on the edge wasn't even rushing. He was more so containment for the like somebody running outside like a sweep or something. Like he wasn't even the real rusher. The real rushers are the 2 guys coming in, and we didn't see. So it's
that's what's great about this game. Like these plays, they're negative plays, but you can see how it's not always, what happens on the field, the players and maybe making a mistake, but sometimes like a better play call, a more advantageous play call, maybe keeping another blocker. And
we didn't make no mistakes on this play. They just had 2 more guys than we could block. Like Josh already had a 1 guy, but they ended up bringing an extra guy. I mean, it's just just a better play call. I mean, we executed what we had called, but what they called was better. So.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I love, because this is something we talked about. Like, it's not, those type of things are going to happen. And here's one that, you talked about offline with me. We're saying like, what are some plays that we could talk about? And you had said, hey, the Lions game had some good ones. And I like this one. I pulled this one because of the type of protection it was, where McGovern's kind of pulling, you guys are throwing some false reads. And if you guys remember one where you're kind of executing like a gap pass protection. So I want you to walk us through this protection, the difficulty of it, especially when you're talking this kind of bare look from the Lions defense.
Yeah, we selling like a counter plays. And since it's bare, if it was regular 4 down, Dave probably be pulling. But if it feels like a 3 to the front side, Dave side, then Connor called cargo and Connor will pull. But whenever we have bare structure, it's automatic cargo. So we came up, it was bare. So I just knew when he called cargo, instead of me dooming and going down, I just had to go down immediately. And it is hard about these blocks because I don't got no help. So I can't throw my hat too front side because he could just go backside. I just got to kind of aim it perfectly down the middle. And hopefully this, like, it's like 4 different concepts he plays. 3 of them are like quick passes, and then 1 of them is like a long pass. And this just happened to be the long pass one. So
So you mentioned doom block between you and Brown. And so what's the combination block usually if it's between you and the center McGovern?
It'll be an ace.
Ace, okay. Typical ace call there. Okay.
I just hit his hip and kind of take over, and I probably climb to the middle backer. It feels the running play.
Gotcha. Cool.
Gotcha. And so on this, you talked about like it. So your initial thought here is get your proper positioning, feel him out, and then let him kind of do what he wants. Anchor if you need to, go whichever way his body is. But that initial point is really kind of get into that midline and get in that proper body positioning to make sure that he can't win ground frontside or backside and give it up.
Yeah, because the Lions did like a read defense. They're not going to jet off the ball. So when Connor pulled, I got like a half a second to hear him get on him because he's trying to like he's reacting to the pull.
Process
So
blocking, yeah.
yeah, before he processed that, I'm finna block him, hurt him, and get on him while he's still probably trying to chase it a little bit. But then, like, once I do that, I gotta hurry up and like get into the pass set before you realize it's a pass set of a run. So if I hurry up and get to my pass set before he converts to his, then I got a way better chance of winning the rep, which will end up happening.
This plays out exactly what you talked about earlier, playing long on the snap. You're firing that left hand out. You can see the stripe or your wrist right there where it lands, perfect hand placement. But then again, fans, watch the body positioning, how he gets his body into the position to, as you said, as that guy's processing to get in that, spatially body positioning there to, again, get in front of him and put himself between, obviously, the pass rusher and the court. Go on to this next one here. This was a play, and you talked about the hand stuff earlier. So you versus Chris Jones here. He's kind of in a 4-eye just inside the right tackle here. And something I noticed on your film a lot more this year was right there. As you fired out, you seem to punch your hand out and put it almost in their face at times. Talk about the technique behind that, the thought behind that, and the reason why you do that, especially in this rep, but again, throughout a majority of your pass pro film.
Yeah, it's just me getting there before my body gets there. Like my arms would, I forgot, it was like 84, my wingspan. So it's like if I stretch my arms out, he gonna run into my arms before you get close enough to my body. So if my hands right there in his face, it's like he gotta move him down. And it's just with Chris Jones, I just exaggerate having him up higher in his face because he don't rush. He rushes with his chest up because he good enough to do that. So it's like I gotta have my hands up high and in his face to make him like actually move him and do something with it. If not, if I have my hands at his chest, he just gonna keep looking at the quarterback, swipe and keep going. But if I have him up in his face, it's like he got to deal with him. And from there, we start the hand battle instead of him just getting his 3 steps in. He's just on his second step, and my hand right there. And it's like he can't do what a move he worked on all week, all season, because he's on his second step. So it just makes it easier to like kind of slow him down and hold him up for as long as I can. And then jumping snaps definitely help.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. You talked about earlier kind of just like when we talked about like scouting report stuff for him, and yours was more like, no, like it's just based on like where he's aligned and what you're thinking. You've seen him on this one, like Eric said, almost like essentially in like a 4-eye on the inside shade of that right tackle. What is your thought process here for like what you think was going to come from him and then how that impacted your set?
Yeah, I'm thinking he's gonna cross my face hard because he's lined up wide, and I tell the tackle to give me a drag hand out loud so he can hear me, so he thinks the tackle's gonna stay and help. Which I mean, the tackle's there helping, but I'm not expecting him to like keep rushing up the field. At least I know he don't want to, but the way I said made him stop on his second step, so he probably couldn't go inside as he wanted to.
I love that. You're like playing. It's the chess match again, man. Like make him like think one thing and then do another. I love that.
Yeah. Sometimes you can. I mean, this. Spencer was hurt this game, but me and Spencer, we played a while together, so I could sometimes give him a call, like a dummy call, and make him sound like he's dragging his hand, but we both know, like, I'm going to jump the guy in front of me. So it's just giving calls and being able to make calls throughout the game and be able to, like, communicate, but use that communication to mess with the defense because they listening.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love that you're throwing out Jedi mind tricks out there. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And much like Vandermark's drag hand, his left hand there kind of being another set of eyes. And, obviously if a guy hits that, but it also is for you because as soon as you put your hands up and then Jones kind of gets into your body, you punch with your inside. You can't really see it from this angle, but you punch and deter that inside move where you thought he would cross your face just based on the protection and where he was lined up. It makes sense that you would think he's going to funnel in here into the A gap. So that punch right there, again, you can barely see it, but you punch out that left hand and place it right at where the shoulder pads are, does kind of deter and stunt that pass rush from Jones.
Yeah, as soon as he touched my outside hand, I'm throwing inside hand. So it's like, man, he's good. He can sometimes like knock my outside hand down with one of his arms, but like I don't want to say he does it, but like you got to kind of use both hands to like kind of set your move up. And as soon as I see him using both hands, like going for my one arm, that's when I throw my inside hand, and that just kind of gives me my eyes inside. So instead of me having to set inside because he went inside a little bit, I just throw my hand. Then if he keeps going inside, that's when I open my hip and drive him past the point.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, we'll get to that last point you just said here in a couple plays. Here's another one versus Jones again, kind of that wide alignment, and this time he takes a different route to you on this play. So walk us through this play. You're one-on-one. Is this another man protection type of thing, you one-on-one with Jones on this play?
Yeah, this is a loose set. The way the Chiefs play, they're going to bring a pressure to the outside away from Chris Jones, so you had to block him one-on-one. And I feel like that's why he kind of played good against him the first 2 games, because me and Dave kind of did good in our one-on-one blocks against him. Because I'm pretty sure it's third down. It's like a down we need a score. So it's like they always bring out their best pressures and stuff like that. When getting one-on-one against the tackles, guards, center sometimes, but he like being a one-on-one against like the tackles and the guards. So third down, and like when he lined up in front of you, it's like it's just a one-on-one rep. So I kind of just wanted to just get something on him. Like all my sets was against him. Like I feel like I want to say I lost, but like all the sets I ended up in bad position with him was when he get to my outside shoulder. So I wanted to let him get to my inside shoulder, and then this game going into, I'm thinking I'm gonna get to my inside shoulder and overset a little bit and drive him past, because I have I wanted to do that because I feel like that was the best thing to do. Because watching film, he's beating everybody going upfield. He lined up wide, so you set wide, or like you said, not as wide because you don't want to set too wide to give an inside up. He just keeps going upfield. So I wanted to make him either run into me or go inside.
And you have Josh to kind of cover up for things as well. So if he shoots upfield, you ride him wide, you have Josh stepping up in the pocket and, again, manipulating the pocket and getting outside of structure if need be.
Yeah, because it was one play, we was under center, and then he was wide again. I'm at 3-point, and I said to him, and I set more flat, and I punched him, but he's lined up wide, and it's like he's able to keep his feet going after he does his upper body because he got good hips. So it was it was more so like he still got back. That's all. I can't underset him. I just gotta not overset, but I gotta overset at least, and force him to go inside or down the middle, because he's fastest and best going. Then his 3 steps in, going right up the field. So.
Love that. Did this one, you talked earlier about, kind of you could stop guys at the line or anchor, like let him get in your body a little bit, hop, take some steps, and then kind of settle down and anchor. You anchor on this one and eventually stall him out. Does this fall kind of into that category of like letting him try to kind of tire himself out and grind on him? Like, okay, cool. Like you're driving me back a little bit, but you're going to be able to kind of set, and then it's just wasted energy for him as you're able to kind of stall him out.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting the bullets, but usually like when I get the bullet, I go straight to hopping back. But this one I kind of took 1-2 step and then I hop back, and it kind of like slow the process down, but also like makes it tougher and make it use more energy, kind of like pull on him and drag on him. Because while he's pushing me back, I'm also pulling his pads down too. Like I'm not just stepping back, I'm like pulling him down at the same time.
You can see once he engages you here, like you can see your pad level like change and go down with him.
Because I'm trying to pull him down. More so because like I feel I be thinking they gonna jump and knock the ball down. So that does it too. But it's also like instinct. Like I learned, like you got a guy, you pull his pass and he can't rush like how you want to rush. Like I'm heads aside, I'm just pulling him down, like not to the ground, but more so like just like I'm doing a reverse curl, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that changes his momentum. It changes his body positioning. It changes your body position and allows you to take away energy from him. No, that's 100%. That 100% makes sense. Oh, I love that little detail.
And let me ask you something. What did you play at last year?
Between 335, 340.
And that's the thing with anchoring. There are different techniques to anchoring, right? But you talked about your hands. You can anchor with your hands. You can anchor with your length, double unders. You like to do the hop is like, I think what a lot of people call it, the hop, where you're kind of, or the walk back. I know that's something. It seems like that's what's great about how you're able to anchor. You have so many different tools in your toolbox to anchor versus whether it's a power guy or a speed guy. But you can use any of these tools at any given time to anchor. And when you play against Chris Jones, as you saw in a lot of these clips, guys, he's going to have to use all of those at the same time at times as well. And so that's what's awesome about having a big guy like yourself and a strong guy like yourself inside, responsible for the interior depth of the pocket for Josh, because you have all these other tools to anchor versus Jones. And sometimes Jones is going to get you. He's going to get you back a little bit. And as you said, you're going to have to walk him by or run him by. That's exactly what happens at the end of this game for the touchdown by Josh Allen. So walk us through this play and what you felt from Chris Jones on this big play against the Chiefs.
This one, it was the end of the game, and he's lined up and wide in the 4 again, but he's tighter. So I'm more so thinking like I'm gonna just kind of sit in front of him,
flat.
But I'm not, flat. But I'm not trying to take a set because it's gonna be too fast when to go inside because he's tight this time. I kind of noticed that. So I just more so like sit right here. I want him to trying to go down the middle of me, so I kind of feed him to the tackle left arm. But it's more so when we work in practice, I felt him come inside. I felt him like kind of get pressure inside because he's trying to like work his move. And then he's bullshing right here, and then I was able to open my hip up once I get him to the inside, and I see that he's like turned, and we both turned like we not parallel to the sideline no more. We like turn. That's why I got him in a run block position. Now I'm just gonna push him way past where I wanted to go to. And right here is one of them plays I think where PFF probably did give me a plus because pancake him. But if I pancake him, I'm gonna take out both of Dion's knees. So it's like you know, really practice that too much because like practice on keeping each other on safe too. So it's just like get the block done. It's like finish the block. You don't gotta like finish everybody because sometimes you finish somebody on your teammate. And now it's like,
So I had a separate question, but I'm gonna go off of that because one of the things that we've talked about on the show and something I've noticed just so much, like the past 2 years, just how I'm very superstitious, so no jinx, fingers crossed, all that kind of stuff. How healthy you guys have been as a group up front, and it just can't be by like coincidence at this point. Like I just love that detail that you put out, like of how aware you are of like, oh, if I finish him, like maybe I'm going into the back of Dion's knees, and you guys needing to be aware of that. So so that's something that as you guys are executing pass pro run blocks, like you guys are aware of where each other are and like finishing guys to the point of not wanting to injure each other.
Yeah, because his offense, like, you don't get licked up like the season, you get hurt, but it's like if we can practice on not doing it to each other, then we definitely can be a little more healthier towards the end of the season. And some stuff will happen, you get hurt, it's a physical game, but if we can practice on not hurting each other, like not finishing guys on other guys' legs or like small stuff like that, I feel like it definitely like keeps the guys more healthy throughout the season.
Oh, I love that point so much. That's just a cool nugget. That was good.
Great stuff, man. That was awesome stuff with the questions and the film breakdowns. We appreciate, everything that you've done for us coming on to the show, taking time before mandatory minicamp tomorrow. Man, we look forward to studying a lot more film of you this year in year 3. And obviously getting you back here in the film room. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate y'all for having me on. I'm happy to be back. Yeah.
Later, man. We appreciate the hell out of you. Go watch some Bleach or some Dragon Ball Z. Appreciate you. Take your time. Enjoy.
For sure. All right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right. See you, Cyrus.
Later.
So much fun, man. I love having the old lineman, the trenches. It's too easy. It's
especially one that's so like big and powerful and imposing, but all the little and it was so nonchalant. He was just chilling there talking about like chess matches and the Jedi mind trick stuff, and like it's just so cool to see that.
It's that development piece. It's that development piece where sometimes the light comes on sooner and quicker for some players versus others. That is the thing I take away from this episode is the next level thinking that he has shown just breaking down film with us today versus just worrying about his assignment in year 1. Where, year 1, it was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I should do this is protection, all those little details. He's worrying about that. Now you're seeing him unlock that next level of, hey, I'm not going to just pancake this guy into Deion Dawkins' legs, and some of the other things he talked about in the episode. That is what my takeaway for this show of year 2 review on O'Cyrus Torrence, that he is now thinking on another level, and you're starting to see it more and more on his film.
Yeah, that's a great call. I don't have too much to add. That was my takeaway as well. Like I was just the little football IQ pieces throughout the episode were sweet, but that piece at the end of like, oh, I don't want to finish him here and get him into like Deion's legs. I just thought that was so like that he's aware of that they're aware of that as a unit, like that type of processing and cognizance and awareness, and on top of all those other pieces of him being like, I know we don't have to worry about this thing from the defense because the type of formation we're going to do is going to erase that. So we can throw that out. I don't have to worry about this guy coming because the way we're going to be aligned, that guy's not going to rush. So I can focus on something different. Just the efficiency in his process and the knowledge and just how, I don't want to say confident, but how calm and easy everything just came from him in this episode from the mental standpoint. Like just how what he was expecting from Chris Jones for a guy who was like, isn't keying on anything or tells, but him being like, he's aligned here. So I'm thinking this, so I'm going to do this with my set. He did this. So I did just very, very like flow state. Like you said, just if A, like choose your own adventure. If A happens, do this. Oh, B happens. So I did this, boom, done. And just, oof.
And it's funny. Like I'm sure there are going to be fans that watch this and they're going to say, well, you don't look for tells, you don't watch a lot of film, and they're going to take it out of context. But in many ways, it's funny because we kind of do the same thing, you and I, when it comes to our film process. After a game, we don't do social media. We just want to watch a film. We don't want our thoughts and opinions framed and kind of boxed in and any other people's theories on what happened in the game or what happened on this play to kind of filter in. So we try to avoid social media. We try to avoid even really conversing with each other so that we can come up with our own thoughts on what happened, whether it's in a single play or overall. And so when he says that, I get it. There, you don't want to flood yourself with too much film because then you don't know what you're looking for. And in a game, you're trying to, recollect something specific, and it's just not going to process fast enough for what's in front of you and that guy coming at you. And so I like his theory and the way he does his process where, hey, he takes what the coaches tell him. I'm sure he takes with what the scouts, the pro scouts, send on down the chain. And then he goes to the film specifically on some of those specific areas, situations, down in distances, concepts. That is an efficient way to do it. And again, it's so fun to have these guys in here because we get to hear that process, but we get to hear the different ways that each player studies film and they study the game differently and they study their opponent differently, which is why it's one of the questions we always ask is, hey, what's your film study look like during the week?
Yep. It's super cool because not everybody's answer is like, I watch 50 hours of tape and this is how I break this down. And, so two guys could each watch 50 hours of tape, but maybe they watch 50 hours of different things, or maybe the order and the sequencing that they watch it go is different and what they focus on or who they focus on. And yeah, it's cool just to get those little insights. And you can't, again, I thought it was funny. I mentioned it during the episode, like Rousseau mentioned it too, like the first couple of years, like you're drinking through a fire hose type of deal. And now it's what did he say earlier this year? I think he said, no, it's more like a smoothie or just like a regular drink now at this point or something like that. Like, and that's how it's got to feel in general. And if you're trying to do that with film, like if you're looking at everything, I mean, I even speaking from my experience and what we do here, when I first started breaking down tape, and I had a good background in it because I watched it in high school and college because we had to, like, you can't just watch everything. You can't consume everything. If you're watching for everything, you're watching for nothing. Like you need to know what you're watching and how to watch it and what to do. And to his point, and you mentioned it during the episode, like why prepare for 10 things if 4 of them aren't going to happen? So focus on the 6 that are going to. We've talked about that so much with the Bills and their offensive potential the last couple of years with the personnel and the variability that it has, because it'll make a defense have to prepare for so much. And then you could not run a bunch of that, but the defense has to prepare because it's a possibility. So yeah, I love that approach from him. And it's just another great example that not only are these guys built different physically and they play different, so you got to coach them different. They prepare different. They see the game different. Doesn't mean one is better than the other, but it's just another peek behind the curtain and like how NFL players operate and how it's different from guy to guy, position to position.
And I got one more thing before we get out of here. It's very difficult to ask, questions and break down film about a play that didn't go well, about a play that ended the season. But I loved his perspective on that. Everyone did their job right, technically, but it wasn't enough because it's not just about the execution on the field. Sometimes a play doesn't work because of execution, because of a mistake, a blown assignment. But that's what's great about football is like you can rectify those mistakes because even on that play, it's not necessarily an execution issue. They had everyone accounted for. It was just one, there's too many guys coming and the play call, the formation didn't allow any more help for the offensive line. And so you heard him talk about the man-sided protection, how he had a Menahue, the D tackle there, and Spencer Brown had the big on the edge, Karlaftis, but they didn't have the safety that was down there. I think it was Reed, right?
Yeah, Reed was the hot, but then which is Allen was prepared for, but then McDuffie came shooting from the sideline, and that also screwed it up. And then Karlaftis was the contain guy instead of being like an actual rusher.
And that's exactly why, this game is great. I know it's a terrible play. It's very difficult for us to ask a question about that play. I hated put it in there, but we have to do it because that is what rectifies those mistakes. And there weren't even any mistakes on that play. That's what's crazy about that. And it was just a better play call. And I think for as much as, for weeks, Bills fans and analysts and commentators were breaking that play down. Whose fault is it? This and that. And everyone had a share in it. There's no doubt everyone had a share in it. Guys on the field, on the sideline, and up in the booth. And it's one of those plays that Spags just waited for that call, and waited for that moment, and he made that perfect call that flushed Josh. And Josh still almost made a play.
I know.
But unfortunately, it went incomplete to Dalton Kincaid, and the season was ended. And that's something I want you guys to take away also from this episode is that it's not always just execution. A lot of people were blaming Torrence on that play, which is why we went there with that play. But he told you what his assignment was and who the hot was. And, if the hot came free, which he did, ball should usually be out. That's what throwing hot means. But I understand the situation and the pressure at the moment. It didn't work out. But overall, man, this was a great episode. And again, next level development coming for O'Cyrus Torrence. We heard it in the film room today. I can't wait for year 3.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. It's been awesome to see, again, a dude who we saw at the Senior Bowl all the way through to now, and just seeing what he's able to do and what he's been able to do, and excited for him. And this offensive line is to have another year together as a unit and going forward. And yeah, he really so many of these episodes of these players are such great glimpses into the fine line and like the margins for error.
Yeah.
Even that last Chiefs play, right? That you were talking about just now. Imagine if you have like a Chiefs player on or Spags, if Allen completes that to Kincaid, and like Spags is sitting there saying like, we had a great call.
Perfect play call.
Dude just made a play. Like, that's just what it is. Like sometimes we said it during the show. We say it all the time. Like the opponents get paid too. Same thing in baseball. Sometimes a pitcher makes a great pitch. Hitter hits it anyway. Like sometimes just those dudes are also good at the sport that they're playing. Sometimes it just happens. And like we say, like you tip your cap and you move on. You want to adjust for it going forward so you don't get beat like that again, or you have better answers going forward. But yeah, that was a really nice insight from him throughout and within that play, along with when we had it from McGovern earlier this offseason, and just a lot throughout this episode. Tremendous to hear from him. Eric, anything else from you as we start to wrap up and say goodbye to the people here?
No, again, thanks for everyone that's going to tune in here. Again, we're going to drop this right at 7, so I hope you guys enjoy that. But it's been a fun series this year, man. Like having all of these players on from multiple positions, and different rankings on the team, and different leaders on the team in different positions. And it's been a great run for the film room. We appreciate all of those players joining us, obviously, but also all the fans for supporting us. You guys are the reason that we do this. We want to bring these guys on to slow down the game, to break down the game for you guys. And we hope that we've done that with this series.
Absolutely. Yes. We appreciate you folks tremendously. And within that vein, with that being said, if you enjoyed this episode here on YouTube, please, and thank you, drop a like here on YouTube. Likes are the lifeblood of these streams. Turn on notifications for the Cover One Film Room playlist here on YouTube. Check out the entire Cover One channel and the plethora of shows we have on the brand almost every single day of the week here on YouTube. Sorry. If you're listening on one of the audio only platforms, please rate and review and subscribe. Tell your family, friends, loved ones about the show. If they're Bills fans, football fans, whatever, maybe they're Florida Gator fans and they still like O'Cyrus Torrence from his time in Florida, or the years before it, Louisiana, Lafayette. Yep, that's what I was thinking. Louisiana, Lafayette. Yep, one of the Louisianas.
Yep.
It wasn't LSU. It was one of the other ones.
Yep.
So yeah, whatever your poison is, pick it here with us at the brand. We appreciate you folks, all the kind words, the support, anything and everything you show and throw our way. We are greatly appreciative of it and thankful for it. And that'll do it for us here in this episode of the Film Room. Major thanks again to O'Cyrus Torrence for taking time out of his schedule to join us this offseason like he did last year. We're excited for year 3. We hope you and your family and friends and loved ones are all doing well and staying safe. Be kind to one another. Take care of one another. We'll see you when we see you. For Anthony Prohaska, for Eric Turner, this has been another episode of the Film Room. Godspeed, and as always,